When I bought a Binatone 5-star from an electronics shop round the corner from Trinity Methodist Church, where I was putting the organ in 1987 at Chelmsford, it was in the window and it was $29.99 to clear. And I tell you what, the box wasn't in as good a state in 1987 as the box from this same trade customer as the previous batch of sets is sent in now 41 years later. So I may get the, oh, looks like one of Macro's labels. So we'll evaluate as to whether we need further protection on the bench. I'm going to open the bottom flap so we're not in any way damaging the box. Check we've got the instructions scanned. Someone's kept their instructions for their Valor Aerial, the Warrior and the Half-Breed, and we can send our warranty card into Binatone International. Good grief, it's like new old stock, that. Beautiful. I think we'll use that packing as extra protection. Put the inner box down. There's the fixing screws. I'll use my power lead stub, I don't need to get his out, or the side screws. And we've got the factory mic here, but I'll put it back in the box for now and I'll work with our standard replacement mic. So if this is new, it'll be low power and low deviation, because that's how they were shipped and how they still are shipped. As you know, they get batch tested in the containers. Inspector comes, pulls a box out, checks the radio, does the spec it's supposed to, and if it doesn't, the whole container is rejected and has to go back. So they're always sent so the power isn't possibly going to go over the top. Because the supplying dealer is supposed to adjust them. And not many supplying dealers do, because it's a box shifting thing, and when you've got a set for £99.99, let's say that's recommended retail price, and Joe Bloggs down the road is selling it at £89.99, people go to him, but what they fail to take into consideration is Mr. £99.99 has in fact had the lids off and done a pre-inspection service. Pre-delivery inspection, that's what I was supposed to say. So, getting our mic. It's the one that says Cybernet on the side. I better not look down at this so you'll see my ugly mug. I looked in a mirror when I was 7 and realised I hadn't got a face. Right. So that's his Midland, or his customer's Midland. I don't care whether they're his or he is a trade customer. I'm not going to write on the radio, which I normally would. Tell you what, we'll get this service manual. Switch the power supply on. I will tread slightly carefully. We'll start it at 12 volts at 500 milliamps. And we're powered up and it's on channel 20. So squelch down, RF gain up, mic gain up, display, medium tone, channel 9, CB PA. Well, straight away, I'll tell you what, let's just check the PA. Probably work on the mic gain, so I'll turn that down.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, it works beautifully. High power, internal speaker, we'll switch to external speaker. So we can plug the test equipment in. I just can't think of any other set that has a switch on the front that says internal or external speaker. It's such a useful function. So I'm going to switch picture in picture on, which for some bizarre reasons, looking at the frequency counter, we normally set off looking at transmit power. I've actually reset some of the camera positions, well, 2 of them anyway. So just go to there. So here we go, transmit is 2.3 watts. Oh, hang on, Mr. 21. We're on 12 volts. 13.8 volts, 1.6 amps maximum current. That's better. I think we can safely say that's 3 watts. Frequency. Well, that's not off frequency. 27,79106. We'll bring that up to 27,79125. We're probably a little tiny bit higher. That's really good. Deviation. Go back to the meter. Wallow. 1.5. Receive. Go over to SINAD meter, which I still haven't reset the position of. Just see whether I can manage to do it on the fly. Just go back to that camera, go back to that camera. Hey, look, I've done it. Right, we better set the signal generator 27,79125. And so for 12 dB SINAD, let's go to the attenuator. I'll reset that one as well. Except I can't remember which camera it is. We have got one. It's a very, very good 0.37. There we go. So really the main things with transmit, that's been used, hasn't it, and then left there. So get the thing opened up. I think my dinner's about ready. So we'll check the VCO. These are stuck there. They're not supposed to be stuck. One released. That's two released. Put that on the piece of styrofoam that's up there. Do you know what? It even smells of new radio. Unbelievable. Better than it smelling of fags. Mind you, some of you probably smoke and probably like fags. When I was 15, I was at school at Oakwood Comprehensive School, Moorgate Road, Rotherham, and I was at school with James May, who co-presents Top Gear, or did, or whatever he does, and he was having a crafty fag behind the bike sheds or whatever. Go on, try it. Go on, try it. And with his other friends, and he said, I says, not likely, because are you yitten, which was a kind of a Rotherham phrase for scared. He says, no, I'm just not lowering myself to your standards. And once you've said that, that was it. Never had a pop on one. Right, meter. So resistor 4. I still need the instructions. I only did one 2 days ago. So it's channel 40. And we start with receive. We're looking for 4 volts plus or minus 0.1. So that is just slightly out of spec. So if you don't do these type of things, if the temperature changed dramatically, you'll end up with channels missing. Just like on the new Midland 78 Plus multi with a blue screen, like we've 4 of. I think the word is disappointing. Mind you, when they're tweaked up, they do 3.6 watts. You know, people call fidelity thousands, don't they? So we've got that. We need to go into transmit. And we should have 4 volts again. 3.6. This time it's the red trimmer. Put my crocodile clip right in the way. That's the wrong way. Trimmers can be either way. You can do 5 sets together, and one could be plus frequencies to the right and minus frequencies to the left. It just depends on other factors. 4 volts ish and 4 volts ish. Now we go to channel 1 and check there 1 point something to 1.8 to 2.4 or something like that, I seem to remember. There's our transmit, 2.1, and there's the other one, so that's absolutely fine. So I've tweaked at that. Switches the little multimeter off. We'll do the frequency. and change it to channel 40. Start again and change it to channel 20. Put Mr. Chippy's crocodile clip lead back over my light. I had his sellotape here this morning. (2779-125) and he was wondering where it was. I went in the organ workshop and it wasn't there. I've been doing a meter, hadn't I, a few weeks ago. And you get the sellotape together, as you know. Other brands available, it's actually Scotch tape we use. 79124. I normally set them a little bit higher, that will do nicely. So we'll just now go back to transmit. We'll start the tune up. So I can still use the 3-watt scale because it's just at the end of it. We're now at full scale deflection. So it's now a good 3 watts. Now I have to change scales. We've gone to about 3.0 something. And now we need to put the 3 coils here to maximum. You've got to work quickly with this because you can soon burn out the transmitter transistors and the coils if it's left at full whack for very long. So I'm unkeying in between. I'm going to go through them again. It's 4.8-ish. Still 4.8-ish. 4.8-ish. So we need to put, I can smell it and it's not nice. L4 is clockwise, this is the yellow one, until we get to 4.4 watts. So we're tuning it down for 4.4 watts. And then the green one, L9, is anti-clockwise. They say for 3.8 watts, but of course in the UK, like most countries, the power limit is 4 watts, and they're only covering their bottoms or arses by doing it at 3.8, so we're spot on 4. It's going to get you all of an extra 100 yards, I'm sure. So that should now be pretty well balanced across the 40 channels, which is one of the reasons it's done. So we're on channel 40, it's 3.95. Channel 1 is 4, so there we go, pretty well balanced. They want it to be within 0.1 watt across the 40 channels. So that's done that. We'll just look at deviation. I like this one, the vertical one, to be in the central position, and then we'll set the deviation on the other one accordingly. Just try it about there. Wow, do you know what? That's spot on. So it's now 2.2 to absolute peak of just under 2.5. Now the meter on the front, let's see what it says. It's boing, it's saying 4 point something, and I keep saying, and I keep getting comments where people don't understand this. This meter is relative to your SWR, unlike the new ones which are programmed, which don't tell you anything except it's transmitting. Probably. So we've set that to 4 watts. When I put this on an aerial, it will not read 4 watts. It may, when I key it up, it may read 1, or it might swing across and bang the end stop. It does not mean that you're only doing 1 watt. It does not mean if it bangs the end stop you're doing more than 4 watts. It's still 4 watts, but it's relative to SWR, so the meter doesn't read properly. That is normal. At that point, we're going for lunch. See you in a bit. There we go. So, it was now on to receive. So we'll go over to the SINAD meter. And, oh no, I'll tell you what, we'll go to the oscilloscope first. That's that camera. No, that's that camera. Where's it gone? Guess I've lost the oscilloscope, haven't I? I'll pause the video while I move cameras. There we go. That's done. Now, put an S9 equivalent signal, so 100 microvolts from the signal generator. And we'll turn the volume. It's only across the extension speaker. It's nothing clever. When you're looking at audio, just make sure the detector's correct. Well, the detector's spot on, so that was something I didn't need to adjust. So now we'll go to the SINAD meter, which also isn't in the picture. Let's see whether I can reset this one on the fly. We'll find out next time we come back to it. Right, so about 4 dB, so we're not saturating the receiver. Turn the volume down a bit. So you get the extra circuit on this model, but you don't get the extra circuit that you get on the base station. That's a significant increase. This set is incredibly sensitive. I've got this now on the 0.3 microvolt setting. It's not often we're down as far as that. Now I need a bigger signal for this at this point. Set it to about 12. So I do these IFs. Use the tool. Spot on. Can hardly see the one down there. No, they're all spot on. I'm just going to recheck that one. Go back to the beginning. Right, there we are. Let's read it off now. So we're at 0.3 of a microvolt. I've got on the other scale, which is what we started off with. So on the 1 microvolt scale, which is what we read it at 0.37, it's now reading 0.24. If we go to the 0.3 scale, it's now reading 0.28. So we'll take the worst figure of the two, 0.28 microvolts is what we've now got it down to. But I said the other scale is 0.24, so it's probably somewhere in between. So that is fantastic. A certain sets, Harvard 420Ms, these, and those SMC Oscar 1s, out of the Cybernets just seem to work better than others, even better than Rotel 240s. And how many people 10 years ago were tossing these off for a tenner because they're Binatone, so it's inherently crap in inverted commas. You have to look at who's making things for people. So that now gives us the S meter. So it should read S9. I've put a 100 microvolt signal on, and it's reading S8. So we'll just pop that to 9. Mind you, I prefer radio with no meters, then there's no arguments. I love these radio hams. You know, you're there. I do a lot on 70 centimeters on 430 meg band. And you're giving me an S5. What am I giving you? I go, no idea. I don't have a meter. But you're loud and clear. So the next thing, squelch. I like the squelch to be able to squelch out 30 microvolts, and it can't. So we need to just increase that a fraction. And open at 100 microvolts. Let's put the attenuator on the screen. Oh, I was trying to reset that one, wasn't I, earlier? Let's give it another go. Reset, preset. Right. So now we'll go up to 100 microvolts, and it opens, closes, opens. I've now got that set how I want it. So at the other end of the scale, we're going to turn the squelch right down, put the signal generator to standby, but we've parked it at 0.3 of a microvolt. Now set the squelch on the radio. Checking at threshold. Switch the signal generator back on. It's just popped out there. So the squelch is coming in at 0.42 of a microvolt. It's leaving at 0.32 of a microvolt. So there we go. Not like that Team Pro 8000 I did, which was about 30 microvolts to open the squelch. We're done. What a lovely set. So somebody hasn't had the pleasure of enjoying how well this radio works for 41 years. So let's hope you get the bigger speaker on these, the 3.5-inch speaker. So let's hope that it gets a little bit more than just Mr. Chippy later on today. This will be the last radio in this customer's batch. I know we've got a Midland 42 handheld in, and then we've got something else in as well, and I've also got to finish off that PE Ranger. Could have done with these speaker leads being another inch and a half longer on this radio. I'm still getting it in the wrong way around. And I kept his screws separately so that we didn't inadvertently put some old gnarled screws in from something else. Don't know why I can't get that screw in. Behind the scenes I will just test it with the customer's microphone. I'll tell you what, we'll swap it over right now. Before I put the lids on and find I've got to reset the deviation. Look at that. Let's go back to the deviation. Voila, it's exactly the same. That's great. There we are. So we'll put it on the aerial. I've gone to internal speaker. I'll press the switch in a moment. Right, on the aerial. 19 Roger. I think they're all having dinner. What do you reckon? So I didn't check low power on this radio. I will test it. I'll put it back on the test equipment before packing this radio away. Let's just see whether it looks like it's working. Well, the radio is drawing 350 milliamps on transmit, so it's certainly doing something. But I will need to get that back on the test set and make sure it's working at around 400 milliwatts, 0.4 of a watt. So that was today's error. Let's go back to high. I'll just tell you what it's drawing. 1.2 amps, which is about what you expect. There we are. A very, very nice set. Thank you for watching.